Mr. Collins Akun, former DCE. Sammy Sonkro, Community 11. Me Tojo from Matema Newtown. Steven Jampo in Tinkong. Obingfu William Babwating. Such a delightful person to listen to. Full of wisdom. Professor William Babwating. Thanks for tuning in. Isaac James in Abokobi. Already seated. Ready for the show. Emmanuel Houston in Germany. Esther Yoku and Rita Yoku, good evening. Shem and Asantwa mixing Yabua, poised and ready for today's episode. Motorway, an obstacle course and path. While I'm on air, let me register my presence at the Peninsula this weekend. So, Mr. William Thomason, all the shout out is not going for free. Nice strong black coffee on breakfast. Dr. Nana Ansah Kwao IV. Now the Maria Hene for the Nana Ansah Kwao IV. Also the creator of the Peninsula Resort. Dr. Tonyen Falola listening live from Texas, Austin. Dr. Falola, thank you so much for tuning in. Ni Kojo Soul Metal, I see you. Eugenia Sintimedi is in the maze. Dr. Titus Bayo. Lawyer Martin Pebu. Lawyer Marcel Imbia. One and only sister, Ariel Entry. Dr. Cynthia Tego. Anna Awiti, good evening. Frank Ejapon Kwaku Odro listening from Mamfi Akuapem. As you know, I'm an associate member or associate citizen of Mamfi. Uncle Simon Botiano Red Top. Samuel Denson. This evening there's heavy traffic in 37 Medina Adenta. But we are with you. I'm with you too, Samuel. Alfred Naza, I see you here. All the way from Dallas, Texas is Kalulu. The Yogi family. All the way in Canada. Hope you're doing well. Odote, Ni Odote. I hope you're doing well. Ajiman Joseph in Community 9. As for you, I know you're doing well. In the May somewhere is my brother Kwamna in the USA. Ojam. Time is over. And we start the way we start. So you say after me. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And you know, I'll say that again. Folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Well, folks, hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. I am Nana Ansah Kwao IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu, Edumasa, and I say thank God it's Monday. Another wonderful opportunity to meet up and perform one of radio's most exciting rituals. A ritual that brings patriots together, brings thinkers together, brings open-mind folks together to the table. And so let's say, let us all gather and make truth good. It only happens here on Joy 99.7 FM. And our topic today, the motorway. Motorway or obstacle? Tema motorway. Is it a motorway or is it an obstacle course? Is it a motorway or an obstacle course? But folks, you see, I think here we can all agree, you'll all agree with me that as a country, we seem to have the knowledge to start the first. Pioneers in many things. Knowledge to pioneer many innovations. Sometimes even the courage to go ahead and build it. We are first in this, first in that. But the wisdom to maintain whatever it is we started, that's where the problem is. I said as a nation, we seem to have the knowledge to start first. Sometimes even the courage to build. But the wisdom to maintain, that's where our challenge is. Folks, especially when it comes to maintenance, to things to do with state-owned property, nasem nase. Folks, let me take us back to 1959. 1959, the first section of the M1 motorway in the UK was built. This was a motorway that was going to link the north of England to the south, Leeds to London. The first part, folks, was 60 miles long. It was from Junction 5, Watford, to Junction 18, Rugby. Now, how they work out the junction is any town, that comes to the side of the motorway where a road comes off, the motorway becomes a junction. So Junction 1 becomes the first town. When you get to the next town, there's a road leading off the motorway to that town that becomes Junction 2. So that's how they come to junctions. Anyway, folks, they built it poco a poco, little by little, from 1959 all the way till 1999. That's when they said they had completed the M1. And now the M1 is 193 miles, which is about 311 kilometers. And we're talking about just 1999, 24 years ago. And they are always patching and painting and working on the road. Some junctions have been widened, redesigned to help flow of traffic. Junction 9 became a bit too congested. 2006, they added 2 more lanes. So those coming from London heading up north, if you're going off the motorway, you could go so that those driving up north could go with that. So then they're just modifying it. But check this out, folks. Right about the same time, good old Osage 4, in 1965, Tema Motorway was also opened. This was also to link the whole country and extend to neighboring countries. It was based on the Autobahn. Speed, ease of movement, access. This was to help the country grow and keep up with the world. So our first motorway also came into being. Not too far off from the M1, near Hobi. And then, folks, the opposition and the Western media said it was the most stupid thing that Ghana could ever invest in. Oh, Raddy, they bashed Kwame Nkrumah well. They bashed him. What was this? Could you put concrete, 18 kilometers worth of concrete? Just a nyanse bi anim. Folks, after that, after the bashing, the condemnation, the degrading, the castigating, after that, it took us up until 2002 from 1965 before we could put street lights on it. 37 years, 18-kilometer stretch of road just to light it. 37 years. I'm not talking any rocket science. I'm not talking going to the moon, brain surgery. No. Stick poles on there, wire them and light it up. 37 years. It took us 47 years to add another 14 kilometers to Kwame Nkrumah's original 18. 47 years. And even that was called the George Walker Bush Highway, because had he not given us money, we probably would still be here waiting. But the story of the N1 does not stop there. It seems as though this road was built by people from Mars at the time. They had never been on Earth, let alone Ghana. Considering the culture, the traditions, the people living along the N1, the towns, activities, their need to cross the road to go to school, hospital, church, mosque, the general trading. How on earth were they supposed to do that when initially there were not even bridges constructed or thought of? I don't know. Now let me draw our attention to how we have no value for human lives. That 14-kilometer stretch, which is from literally Accra Mall all the way to the Makati Hill, death trap. And it really worked well, I'm telling you. Oh, it's the best among the best. And I'll tell you why. In the 17th month, around the time it was opened, folks, it killed 200 people and 500 accidents. 17 months. 200 people perished, 500 accidents. Forget about those who got injured and maimed. That's about 12 people dying in a month, 30 crashes in a month on that small stretch, 40 kilometers. But maybe you still can't deduce it. So let me do some comparisons to bring your attention to it. Folks, at the time, right, the war in Afghanistan was going on from 2001 till 2014. Now, UK soldiers, United Kingdom soldiers, fighting the Taliban. They said they had lost too many men. In fact, at one time they had to beef up with more men because, it was becoming unbearable. Since 2021 to 2014, they had lost 448 soldiers in the war front. 2001. So in 13 years, folks, they had lost 448 soldiers. Folks, that's 3 men in a month on a battlefield. When we were doing 12 a month on a simple road. Can you commemorate? People facing the Taliban and fighting, mortars, bombs, guns, in and out. They were doing 3 men a month. Crossing a 14-kilometer road with no assembly, we're doing 12 a month. It's like for every kilometer you travel, there was 1 death. And at the time, some idiots had also stolen the street light. Others had pulled out the electric cables. As for the railings, the less you say about it, the better. But before I move on, let me go back to the original motorway. Folks, it was told. And interestingly, it was first manually tolled. And as soon as they changed it to electric tolling, folks, the revenue jump was madness. But surprisingly, the same people who were collecting the manual toll, who were now accounting for the huge jump, were still working there. SMBNC. Nobody went to ask them, say, hold on, come on. Are you saying because they changed electric tolls now, lots more cars want to use the motorway because of the electric tolling? Or is it that there was something telling before the electric tolling coming? But as usual, with everything, we do not penalize or question. But then the jury is still out as to 50 pesos and 1 CD, was it enough to actually fix the roads, whatever it is? The jury is out on that one. It's questionable. Folks, however, if you travel on the motorway today, it's like an obstacle course in a video game. It's like an obstacle course in a video game where anything and everything goes. 100-kilometer moving traffic mixed with 30, sometimes even 20-kilometer moving traffic. High-powered V8, V10, 800 horsepower vehicle alongside 125cc scooters, trotro and bus stops, pedestrian crossing. Almost all the lights are out. So in the night, it's, each one for himself and God for us all. The road surface, or should I say the moon surface. Folks, I don't even think Neil Armstrong had it that bad with regards to bad surface on the moon. Sharp-edged potholes, mangled portions. Now, sometimes I wonder, those who travel on it for the first time, how do they manage it? Because even those of us who use it every day, sometimes you get caught out with all of a sudden this big sharp edge hole in front of you, and you ask you whether you're hitting it or you're swerving. One time, I wasn't fast enough. Bang, 2 a.m. smashed my tire. Luckily, I was with my boys, so I could park and change it. But can you imagine if you're on your own at that time, 2 a.m., one, your tire is burst. Motorway. This is not a road hidden, obscure in some place where nobody visits. This is the motorway. Something that's supposed to link the industrial city to the capital city to move things fast and get the economy moving. has now become, an obstacle death trap. With all kinds of indiscipline, whether should I say permitted or going on there. I'm just being told Spikey was actually robbed on the motorway. I remember KKD also getting a puncher and getting robbed on the motorway. And yet those who are responsible for it will still get their pay and everything as business will be as usual. Now, you see, sometimes you could come into heavy traffic on the motorway and you sit and sit and sit and sit only to get in front and realize that's just because people are crossing the motorway. Oh, yes, people are crossing. And sometimes they get on the motorway and they are upset. Just say they are upset that why won't you stop on the motorway because they are crossing. Folks, is it time we declassify this road? Maybe now it's just an urban road. Maybe it's a footpath or a countryside road. Maybe we have to declassify it to become a countryside road where we put signs, because horses may be crossing, cattle may be crossing, people on footpaths may be crossing. Folks, apart from the road being in its bad shape, quite a number of drivers too have no clue about the rules regarding the use of a motorway. Undertaking instead of overtaking, stopping in the central reservation instead of the soft shoulder, driving slow on the offside lane. Folks, it's just, like I said, like a video game or a cattle market. Anything, you can just get in a car, a bicycle, a scooter, anything and do it. You can get a little tricycle, load it up with rubbish, hit the motorway. Unless your heart, it's not your fantasy. I just say new akomaso. Now one day I want to really get, just a pistol and mortar and just sit by the side, get somebody and pound fufu and see what will happen. Just bang, and see if what will happen. And I want to try it. Because it looks like the opposite you can do it. I'll try one day because try Kwanin Champa, I'll go fufu, bam, 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 and see what's going to happen if I do that. Folks, while we're on the motorway, let me draw our attention to what's happening on the Ebri Hills leading up to the Peduasi Lodge. Now, one day it may cause a major disaster. Folks, there's no respect to laws or rules as to how close we temper the soil close to the edge of the cliff and to the road. The level of excavation going on now, should there be a major rainfall, the road may cave in. The number of buildings coming up close to the edge of the cliff, hanging on top of the road. And I have seen a couple of rocks begin to fall. Now, I wonder what will happen, with years of vibration and the tempering of the soil and these constructions going on. Has nobody seen it? Is there a council there? Do they have, municipal assembly there? Do they drive by the road? Do they see it? What's going on? Yet we look on. I remember once upon a time, people actually were stone mining. Yes, and they will gather the stone right by the side of the road to sell on the route that the president's residence at Peduasi is. So from the highest authority to the lowest authority, we all drive by these stones, knowing very well that for every stone you move, another one has shifted, and you temper with the integrity of the soil. Are we saying that we are so poor that anything goes? We are so indisciplined that nothing matters? Or simply life means nothing to us? all the education, the Sunday school, religion. Muslims are praying 5 times a day. Christians are all-nighting and Sunday. All the doctors and letters to our names. Is this the best we can produce? Folks, maybe you can help me. Maybe you can help me out here. How is it that we easily become overwhelmed with almost every situation that confronts us? I mean, we are easily overwhelmed with anything that confronts us. And you get on the motorway now. As soon as there's a little obstruction, and so you stop, within the next 3 minutes, the hard shoulder and the central reservation will be filled because the cars at the back will say, nope, they are not waiting. They need to drive on the side and cut everybody out. And truth be told, they will get home before you because Asimbia is. I mean, surely we can. We should be able to do something. I mean, it doesn't take much. I mean, 2 constables and these things will be rectified. But while we are looking on the motorway, I am saying, up on the hills, that's another major disaster waiting to happen. And that authorities should go there and check, and if it's safe, just let us know that it's safe. So when we are driving and we look at the excavation, we know that the authorities have checked it and it is sound and safe. But from the naked eye, it looks very precarious. But I know this is a subject that you have more to say than I do. So you call me on 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Emmanuel Ashley, good evening. The crossing at the Manette side be the worst. Can't they give them a footbridge? Or maybe even an underpass? Good evening, and who's my first caller?
Good evening. I'm Nana Kwesi. I'm calling from Medina.
Nana, let me hear you.
You call the motorway a death trap. No, it's not a death trap. It's death. Death itself calling people who plight it. So if you are not careful, then you join. And I always say, education is not only to acquire knowledge, it's supposed to enhance your common sense and wisdom. It seems like these two is lost to reading books in this country. I don't get it, Nana. You vote for people to come to power. We have state institutions that have responsibilities. Yes, these people will come, they will keep messing us up, and you will get same Ghanaians comparing who did the worst job from the previous and the current administration. That's where we've got into. So, Nana, we
can't lose hope, my brother. 0302-216-541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Nana, this is Sammy Sonko.
Let me hear you.
This is Sammy Sonko.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, let me hear you, my brother.
Nana, but for this summer motorway, I don't want to disappoint, but I just want to see the least. I mean, my contribution will not be a lamentation, but it's a candid assessment of the road. And let me not bore you with unhinged and ill-thought through promises as to how it's going to be fixed. But for me, I'm not able to calibrate and adjust. But my fan is there. But in crisis leadership phase, opinion therefore, and can you believe that a police for motorbikes will open them to and everybody say give way on bad road, You see, but Nana, with all humility, I'm of the view, sir, managers of this motorway have been compromised and they are just dancing evil to the tune of unseen spiritual qualities of their leadership. And for me, truly that they are in terms of challenges, you should be able to say, sir, Charlie, media mapping, the way they are movie. But so far, my pointers are, so far I am disappointed on the imaginable weakness in finding a solution to the motorway. More so than not, I don't think that there's enough reason. But now, all that I can say is in times of crisis, now for the motorway, you see the crisis point, leadership pays, and the lion's share of the price is that the money. It's a motorway who owns it. And I wonder, let's what no, back of someone. And I say, when you are driving someone to the airport, you must always say a prayer. Because we need to do what could do on a safe way, and I say, it's not going to work. You see, when you even have a check-in time at in 1800, you must start as much at 1200 hours. But Charlie, but looking around me, Charlie, it's so disappointing to say the least. But I'm of the two feelings. People feel entitled. People feel detached from reality, and seldom learn from history. And Charlie, property say, how can it's such thing? But God day.
We can't lose hope. This one says, hold on, it's a long one. Nana, it's worrying listening to the bitter truth you are spewing into our ears. It saddens my heart. One attitude of the Ghanaian maintenance culture is shameful and unheard of. I've been worried listening to the supposed prof. Look at the statement made by a man of his caliber. I asked a lot of questions about his stance and recommended wisest offer. This is unfortunate. I would not waste my time listening to him when it comes to education management. I always call him zero. Go back and listen to this man. Back to the subject. We can only complain and act too late until the serious and unimaginable thing happens. We have too many clueless individuals occupying some key positions who could barely understand the issues of our motherland. I have the passion of the late President Rawlings and visionary like Dr. Nkrumah. We can do better for ourselves. It hurts, and this is the best. Is this the best? Nana, no, it's shameful. Frank Ejapon Kweku Odru in Mamfe. Hello, who's talking to me?
I'm Uncle John.
Uncle John, let me hear you.
Please, this motorway. I've used this motorway for 45 years. I started using this motorway 1978. Mm-hmm. I'm still using it. That time, it's called motorway. Mm. There was no aboboya with pure water. Mm-hmm. No pure water vehicle. You can't see anything around the motorway. There was a phone booth along the motorway. So if you get problem, you have to go and call for assistance. Now, I didn't call motorway again. Because now it is death trap. So if you think you are running or you are using the motorway, you better stop that, because even Labat Beach Road is better than motorway. I think everything Nkrumah did has been spoiled. No maintenance for everything. The fact now, I'm in Tamau. You don't see any single thing Nkrumah did that is there. Look at all. We have tour there. But that time Nkrumah was putting up tour about 6 years ago. There was no crude oil anywhere. Now we have crude oil. 3 ships. Crude oil. We can't find it yet. God have mercy
God have mercy on us. 0302216541. Nana, the opposition who bashed Nkrumah over the motorway is the party in power today. They said they will expand it into 6 lanes. So let's wait and see. The reality is a few citizens will die on it before it's sorted. Good evening. And hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Kofi. I'm calling from East Lagos.
Kofi, let me hear you.
So when, Nana, how long must we complain about this motorway? Because your show is not the first to talk about this. Your sister stations has been doing it over and over, and it looks like it's the same old story. I don't know. What should we do? Where should we go to? Who should we cane? I think maybe we should start doing that. We'll take canes. Whoever is responsible, we'll find you and we'll cane you. We'll ask reasons why what's supposed to be done is not. But I don't know, because it looks like we've been complaining and we are not getting any feedback. So what do we do? This road to pedestrian thing you are talking about, Nana, somebody is not doing their job. See, people will be building at places they are not supposed to. This will happen. They will write stop work, and the people will go to the whatever assembly is responsible for it, and they will go and take permit to come and build at where they are not supposed to build. And that is what's happening, Nana. So who is responsible? Who? Oh, God.
That's the question. Who is responsible? Who is responsible? Who is liable? Good evening, Nana. We don't even need to think for ourselves. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah has already done the thinking for Africa. Ghana has a blueprint, yet our feeble-minded misleaders are hell-bent on chaos and corrupt deeds instead of just implementing what was embedded in the Nkrumah blueprint. God's own Ghana deserves better. Shem mixing ye boa. Okay, who's talking to me?
Nana, yeah.
Come again.
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening. Who am I talking to?
This is
Your line was breaking.
Lee from.
Okay, let me hear you.
Okay. This thing about the motorway, you all keep talking about it. You all keep complaining about it. It causes so many accidents and stuff like that. But the question is that the politicians listening. You understand? Because I'm sure they've heard whatever people have said about it and things like that. So if there's something done about it, I think it's high time they do it. Because so lives have been lost in property and things like that, and it will impact negatively on our economic life. So
thank you very much. But your line was really bad there. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
This is Yao calling from East Legon.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Okay, now it's very sad to hear. The things you've said, but in everything, someone needs to be responsible. If you go through our laws, you realize that we have institutions that are responsible for all these things you've mentioned, but they cannot enforce the law. So everybody tries to buy their way through, and this is being done by the rich. So they confuse the whole system, and then they get their way through. The pediatric incident is a clear example of something that is happening. There's no enforcement. So with time, or in the next 5 years, you realize that there's no green scene over there. Everything is being cleared. Then we come back to the same table and try to analyze what we can do. So we are more reactive as people, but not proactive. So it's when things happen. We've had issues of gas explosion where the whole country comes together and then we mourn and very emotional outpour. And then after a year or even less than 6 months, everything changes to we are okay. Until another incident happens, then we start going back. So we need to be responsible as people, and then we need to make sure people have clear definition of their job description and what they need to do. They need to be held accountable for. That's my view on this issue.
Very sad. Listen to this. I mean, this is just Says, good evening, Nana Ansah. Motorway. One evening, my wife and I are driving about 70 kilometers per hour towards Accra on the motorway. Suddenly, about 200 meters ahead, we see someone frantically flagging us down, forcing us to slow down rapidly, only for us to realize it was a trotro mate standing in the middle of the road, stopping traffic to enable people cross from the central reservation to board his trotro parked on the side of the road. I mean, if I tell you it's like a video game, is it far from it? I mean, this is something that was like something you play in the video. Motorway, cars nearby because may for passengers. I mean, how can you be so free and at liberty to put everybody's life in danger and still be free? Hello, who's talking to me?
My name is Jay.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Yeah, Nana, you said it, but I want to add just two things.
Sure.
You should look at the Road Safety Committee and the National Commission for Civic Education. Now, first with road safety committees, you see accidents, people hitting the fencing on the road, like the sides of the road and the median. When there is an accident that way, you don't see the police telling the person who hit the median or the fencing to repair those things. They just take the accident records of the accident and then they leave it as it is. Go right to Achimota Police Station and look at the railings there. Cars hit it and they are left like that. Very dangerous. To the students who are passing, anything can happen. Same way throughout Accra. Accidents happen, and then you see the accident left at the roadside. Cars get bent down, they leave it there for years until those car boys come and pick those things, scavenge it away. Same way you look at National Civic Education, NCCE, they should teach the school children how and where to cross roads. They don't teach all these things. And you see children and even adults jaywalking at the sides of the road. The last that I will add up is that you ask the policemen, the MTTD people, whether they are put on the roads to arrest only car drivers. Because you see motor riders riding on the line, and that is overtaking. And you see two cars coming, and they still overtake on the line. The policeman will look at it and ignore it. I don't know what the IGP tells them.
It's amazing. That's what I think. If we overhook that motorway incident of by Guy Fawkes in Tema, who's traveling with his wife. All of a sudden, somebody frantically, flagging them down to stop, and then trot, which is a passenger on the motorway. Come on. It's like a joke. It's like something out of a comedy movie. Something Mr. Bean would do. It's like something Mr. Bean would do. But this is real life saga. Just can you imagine if they hadn't seen this person 200 meters and saw him maybe 50 meters at 70 kilometers an hour, they need more than 50 meters to stop buying. You will see the Abusia Penny of this mate coming, listing a whole, as if this guy was working at the Flagstaff House. Now they can't go. Hello, who's talking to me?
Nana.
Yes. Good evening.
It's hard though.
Yeah.
When you are listening, you think it's stories that we are saying, but it's even more serious than that we are putting. Personally, I had an accident on the motorway somewhere 2011, 22 years ago. Until now, my chest still hurts.
Wow.
It's because of someone's, excuse my language, foolishness. Because you see these tractors, these long ones that load the cement. You see that this tractor is not going, and you are behind it, and I'm in the inner lane. Instead of taking your time for me, you just turn without watching your translator. And I had to sit is back. My airbag shot and it hit my chest 22 years ago. I'm still having this pain. So the motorway, like someone said, it is not a death trap. It is death itself. Someone's mistake can cost your life. So the earlier they pay attention, the better. It's like flooding in Accra. You only have to change the date on your story. Every other thing you say, we are entering a rainy season. Nothing has been done. Nothing. And we'll be here. Accra floods again. This is the country we live in. Nana, God bless you.
God bless you. They say people deserve the leaders they get, but do we really deserve this? Good evening, Nana. The speed ramp at the Chopoli barrier is death waiting to happen because it's now a speed ramp with gutters across it. It's very bad and deadly, especially if you don't know the road. AJ from Ebri. 0302216541. I don't know if you've been on the motorway and you're driving on the near side, so basically on the right side of the motorway, which means you're on the slow lane, and then you get this little Uber driver comes behind you and beeping and flashing that get into the fast lane so that they can undertake, and then they are gesturing to their brain thing is just what why are you in the slow lane? I need to overtake. I mean, I don't know if you've experienced it. You are in the slow lane, so maybe you're doing maybe 60 70 in the slow lane, which is and because there are people driving slower in the fast lane, they come behind you, hoot, say, like, I need to undertake. Yes. And they'll be gesturing to their head, say, hello, who's talking to me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, Edwin.
Edwin, let me hear you.
Edwin. From Dubai. Yeah, Nana, you see, the narration that the guy gave on the motorway, can you just imagine that if all that happened, and then assuming the person had knocked the throttle meat, the police will just come for him. They will even ignore whatever other mistake that the throttle meat did. Is all the person who knocked the throttle meat will be the focus by the police. So what kind of country are we living in? We are encouraging the people to do the wrong thing. The one driving on the motorway at a top speed, look at somebody in the middle and then he's stopping the person to pick passengers. God bless our home Ghana.
God bless our homeland Ghana. Me say, and the list that they will bring, you think you ran the president over. You'll be shocked. And the guy is saying the police, and that's when you see that there are laws in Ghana. Oh yes. You see that there are laws. It's sad. Do we really have to get here? This is a country that's been exposed for a very, very long time to all civilization whatsoever, whether being customary, traditional, Western. We are exposed quite well, steeped in tradition. So there are certain things that are definitely beyond us. And this is clearly one of them. But as it goes, it looks like we are overwhelmed. We just have to live with it. Yes. It looks like we just have to live with it. Because I don't see anybody getting up one day and saying that, something, I am now going to bring the discipline. It's either going to be dropped down to an urban road or a road, or we are going to give it a motorway status and respect it as a motorway. And the importance of the motorway is that because Tema is an industrial city, you need to be able to ferry between the industrial city and the capital city quick enough, because the quicker you move, the more money is made in the system, the more taxes the state will get. So the motorway is not a beauty or a luxury. It is to facilitate movement. Within a short period of time, with your bank crying, so that you can sell it, the government will take some, the truck can quickly get back to Tema to bring more goods. So that's the essence why countries or states build motorways. That's why they build motorways. It's not for luxury. It's not just to drive fast for going fast sake, but the movement so the business can flow. You can get to work quickly. You can bring your goods quickly. You can market quickly. You can go and come quickly. Not sat in traffic because some trotro driver wants to pick some meat. How then does the economy move? So it is a necessity. It is a necessity. And come on, if 1965, the first president commissioned this road, and today we are here, cap in arms, and just to me, we are so overwhelmed. Then it means the nation hasn't moved forward. We've moved backwards. As this gentleman just ranked it, once upon a time, there was a phone booth by the side of the road so you could even call for help. Today, we can't even light it up. Now, many, many years ago, I was going to visit a friend, on the motorway. And, this friend hadn't been to Ghana in a long while. So directing me to the house, they said that, they don't remember, but on the motorway, there's some street light leaning in a way. And when you see that leaning, you turn. So for many, many years, I'm thinking by now, they said street light No. When I got there, the street light was actually leaning. And when I turned, it was the right turning. I felt sad. Even though I was happy that I got the direction, I was sad that for a long time, basically, still our street light not here, get the directions on the motorway. That can't be fair. Hello, there's nobody on the line. Well, this our country, Ghana, even if God himself comes down to govern us, our mindset won't change. We are our own enemies. The motorway has lost its purpose. Let's just call it a dual carriage road. As for the Abri road, they will be looking until lives are lost before NADMO, and a committee to do investigation will set in. A change won't start with the leaders, but with us, the citizens. Aigbeni Dobeda from Nungwa. Good evening to Dr. Letitia Appiah. Good evening to you. And happy anniversary to you, Ohineyeri, your 26th. Today marks exactly your 26th anniversary in media. So happy anniversary to you. Well done to all your advocacy on women issues, women and gender issues. So, Yamawayiko and fight on. And from the Okuaping Himia to you, Nana Ansah Obu to you. On the demise of her husband, you all came to Abuasan to mourn with her. And she extends her sincere gratitude to the love that was shown. You turned up in your numbers. And what a befitting send-off gave to Odeshi Akoto. This is from the Okuaping Himia to all of you. Nana Ansah Obu Nketia. Well, folks, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Abe Kusan Kofi was on the ones and twos. Kofi Hayford has lined up some songs while you drive on the motorway. Nadia Chicho Kakra. Maxwell Agbagba is here to give you the news bulletin. And until Monday, that God be with us, we'll be back here to do this all.